ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, G2A, NVIDIA, and ESEA.
Good evening and welcome back to the ESL Pro League. That little beeping at the end of that video makes me feel like I'm on a news report. I want to go, good evening. The headlines tonight are Mirage goes 16-14 in favor of NaVi. Now we go into Overpass. I've got Vendetta and Pansy to highlight this one to break it down a little more. I'm going to start the conversation by reminding you, I don't know if you guys know, but I casted an incredible game on Overpass.
Stop it.
It was really quite good. It was, basically Luminosity NaVi.
Did anything special happen?
There was some boosting. I don't know. I can't even remember it. It's all just a blank at this point. But it was a good one. I enjoyed it. And I do want to say, am I stupid to think NaVi are quite hot favorites coming into Overpass? Mirage, much more in favor. Like, Dignitas had a chance there, but I mean...
No, not here.
Not in this domain.
I'm gonna be real. Like, I think that generally, if you're going to try and beat NaVi this map, one, you need to smash Guardian pretty hard.
Which
and then,
some people did.
Yeah, you know, Henny had a good time of it. You see Fallen doing pretty well at it. Seemingly Brazilians just have, you know, Guardian's number on this one. But then also this, for me, has been one of Flamey's playgrounds almost. He started to find some extremely good form on this. So really, I think that Dig had a good shot on Mirage. It's one of the better maps that I think they can always perform on. Overpass, they're okay, but they're not NaVi challenging level, at least in my eyes.
Yeah, I think I'd actually, I'd piggyback on that definitely. And you could tell that NaVi even managed to get along at Katowice with a lackluster performance from Guardian on
actually,
Overpass,
that's true.
which is a pretty big thing because that meant that somebody else stepped up. And you mentioned Flamey, Ceased, had a couple of great games as well. So that's the thing. We talked about that with NaVi, that if you smash Guardian, then you have a good shot at it. But on a map like Overpass, Ceased and Flamey actually play really well quite often, and even Suze. So there's a lot of hurdles for Dignitas to get over. They've had okay results if you just look at their match history on the map, but that's versus lesser opponents. It's not versus the likes of NaVi, and whenever they've gone up towards the upper echelon of teams, then they fall flat.
And that's kind of clear. That's kind of a quick summary of what we're expecting. Unfortunately, it has to be a quick one this time, so shut up. Time for some CS. The casters are standing by. We have to get right into this one. It is going to be our second game of our 4-game day, and it's the same old casters. It's going to be D-Man and Semler to guide you through this one. I did say old. I'm sorry, Lee. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure if you're just talking about me or what there. I can only assume you only meant me, because if you start calling Semler old, there's going to be problems.
Oh, it wouldn't be a lie. I'm no spring chicken.
But you know when you hear about my age, that's for sure, yeah. Yes, the old casters here next to the young analyst desk. Okay,
well, Ben's as old as I am, so I mean, you know, youngish.
Youngish.
Caster desk.
Youngish. They're all getting older. I'm not going to lie. They're not as young as they used to be.
Well, you know, Lee, like, what is it? 27 is the new 18 or something like that.
It's when you hit your 30s. That's when life begins.
Right,
30.
exactly. You hope.
Well, you hope. But it is.
I hope.
It is Dignitas versus NaVi. It is going to be on Overpass, and you know, Alex just alluded to it so subtly that he did cast a rather good game of NaVi on Overpass against Luminosity.
Oh, indeed.
And against Tempo Storm as well, wasn't it? They've had some cracking games on here, and you only need to really look at the results. Both results, both teams' results on Overpass. You look at Dignitas, who they beat on here. They beat the tier 2s. You look at NaVi, the tier 1s. It's like they are considerably better.
No, NaVi are monsters on this map. It is. I mean, that was such an amazing match though, because Luminosity, they pushed NaVi so far back that NaVi had to use strats that they wanted to save for the major to beat them. Yeah. Right, or to make it close. Like, okay, then, you know,
you've literally shown us a strategy that now everybody knows.
Yeah, but I love NaVi, you know, at the end of it, where they're just like, okay, we use the strat, now Valve, please fix it, you know. It's like, get out of here. Come on. You gotta be.
I love the fact that Luminosity also came out and said, yeah, we knew about it. We just, we don't want to use it yet. And also there was just that situation. It has to be such a perfect situation for it to actually work well. But here we go, this is going to be a B strat.
Yeah, nice execute actually, because this is pretty much going to counter Dignitas' setup. They have to go rushing through smoke, really risky sorts of plays, then the CT smoke blocking them off. They are going to go for a boost here, but Navi should be aware of this. They should be able to punish it. It's a huge risk for Config to go for, and he's going to get punished. Down to 2 HP for him.
Rubino sees the head of Flame. He just can't manage to land them little taps coming through. Instead, the man in pit will be Guardian has seized, gunning them down. It's a straight-up shootout in the OK Corral. And it will be Na'Vi coming out on top. Not a single man lost. Perfectly executed pistol.
Yeah, that was... doesn't get any better than that, to be frank. That's almost like they set up that strategy just to take advantage of how Dignitas were setting up their defense. Because Dignitas, they had the 2 players waiting in CT, so in case there's a rush, they don't get overwhelmed by the Glock train. But you saw how easily Na'Vi were able to zone them out of that bomb site. 2 smokes, and that was it. Nothing that Dignitas could do to stop that bomb plant. Apart from Rubino obviously trying to find the headshot on Flamey, but that's a really, really hard shot to hit.
All right, an adjustment from Dignitas. Going for the Deagles, but no armor to follow it up. Rubino, unfortunately, not going to land anything. And without that armor, those SMGs are going to rip your head clean off your shoulders. MSL, the one man trying to find Zeus as he peeks on around the side, but Zeus, instant headshot there. No messing. And Tensky, well, he's in position, manages to land the one, but that is about all it will be. Guardian collects himself another stack of cash, and Edward will finish things off. So, expected second round there against the Pistols. No armor for Na'Vi.
Yeah, not a big loss at all for Na'Vi, considering most of them were running UMPs. Just like, whatever, bro. One of us died. It's all good. Dignitas, though, I do like that. It's kind of like meeting halfway. They don't fully commit, so they'll have a healthier nade count going into the next round, but they still have some firepower in the Deegs, right? And in the 5-7. Config didn't get a kill, but still.
You can always get lucky.
You can always get lucky, exactly. So they give themselves a little bit of a fighting chance, but they're still banking on that 4th round bye. So Dignitas this time around going to be pushing aggressively at long, and they might be running into a little bit of a tricky situation. There is a man holding pretty far back. That's Guardian. Doesn't necessarily have the best firepower to deal with the rush coming out of long, though. Just the Deagle on him. Bet he wishes he had that MP7 or that Mac 10 right now.
Well, it's a Deagle duel, and it's Guardian that comes out on top, and not the second time around. Rubino with the P250 chimes in, but Edward, he's got a little bit more firepower, and it is the UMP, and that's exactly how that duel will work out. Tensky, the last man standing, tries to land a little something, sitting on top of that railing, but sadly, now down to 6 health, and it will be a dunk in the end to finish things off from Zeus.
You see that HE coming from a mile away as well, right? Thanks to the Tracer.
It's just like,
I'm just looking who has an HE, right? HE is in the air, right? Round is over. Okay. Moving along, we get to go into the real action here because Dignitas now, they have the money to go for the buy. MSL has just barely enough to get that AWP.
glass cannon, yeah.
But look at this. I mean, this has been very one-sided so far, Na'Vi. They've managed to crush on the pistol round, and then they handled both anti-ecos very nicely. 2 kills total for Dignitas so far at going into the 4th round. So they don't really have a whole lot of confidence to go off of. They have to, warm up right now and get in the fight right here. And we have to see MSL with that angle.
Coming his way, he does manage to get a glimpse, but it's Guardian that hops, skips, and jumps and finds MSL. Glass cannon or not, you can't block them shots. And now, well, Na'Vi, they have full control of long. Kiebi's kind of in no man's land right now. There's 4 members of Na'Vi all around him. He finds one, but Zeus is just the other side of that wall. The rest of Na'Vi, they're piling straight down long.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. And the shot, Kiebi misses out completely. Rubino, however, will be able to trade up. Just picks up the 1 kill, however. Guardian's on a tear right now. Edward has an AWP as well. Somehow, he gets killed in the end by Tensky. So we're into a 2-on-2. Question is, there are a bunch of nades on the ground, but Config's going to find the perfect timing to go ahead for that peek. Takes out Guardian, and now it's all on Zeus. Steps forward with the M4. Can't get the job done. Config picks up the 1. Tensky with 2.
Bizarre round.
Yeah, exactly. Somehow, Dignitas come out ahead, but for a long while there, it looked to me like Na'Vi should have had control of that situation.
So that's, I mean, MSL got picked off early. He was like, yeah, there's people in long. But Kiebi, they just all passed him by. So he's immediately like, guys, there's footsteps all around me. They're coming down long, they're coming down short. Everybody rotate in, and Dignitas were set up and ready and waiting for Na'Vi. Happy to receive them, as it were. But as you see, Na'Vi, they had such a successful first 3 rounds. They can afford to buy themselves right back into this one, fully stacked out with utility as well. This time they are adjusting. They're going for that B site hit, and they're working their way in. Rubino smoked off at the moment with Kiebi giving him backup fire. They're going to have to get involved in this one because Zeus and Edward are already through. Sees this sit ready, waiting to burst out a monster, and Config and Tensky at the moment are smoked out, so they're not really in position, and they're already through monster. Nobody's going to challenge them yet.
Oh man, that flash goes off in Rubino's face. The worst possible timing. Zeus holding the line. He takes out Rubino. He could get the second one as well. Tensky is gone, and Flamey catches out Config on short. That's down to Kirby and MSL now, and MSL just now rotating into CT, so a lot of ground for them to cover. Nice little dunk nade onto Zeus, but he still gets the job done with the AK. And it's all on MSL now. 1v3. Bomb site under control here for Navi. They're in position to catch out Sniper. He's going to be able to walk up and just assassinate Guardian. But then, yeah, Flamey from Pit is going to be able to pick him off. So, worst case scenario here, D-Man. Worst case scenario again for Dignitas. They just can't seem to catch a break. Mirage was the same story. Win a round, lose the following round, get their economy reset. And here, Navi, they do it again at the beginning of the half on T-side overpass as well. So life, it's not looking very rosy right now for the Danes.
Yeah, this is not the sort of start they were hoping for, especially after such a close game on Mirage. Had a lot of work to get to that position, and well, they did manage to win an eco before. Let's see if they can do it again. At this stage, Zeus is sat ready and waiting for this. Kiebi, I think he just caught a glimpse. Yeah, there you go. New MSL was there. Second man peeking. It's Kiebi that does land that deagle shot once again. So that's a rifle, but Edward's already going down to challenge him. And he will pick him off. Rubino going to try and chase in. Switches across. While this is all happening, Seized has got himself lined up a couple of shots. There's Edward. And it's just a shooting gallery now. There's the nade. Oh, dunk.
Get out of here. Tezki can't catch a break, man. He's just like,
two dunks running. He's just like, really?
I
guys?
heard, you know, your HE stats weren't too solid. Let me go ahead and help you out real quick. You know? You can get some kills. I'll hook you up. I got plenty of kills for you. What is this? And, well, yeah, double eco scenario here for Dignitas. That's expected.
I wonder how much these guys really go on those HLTV ratings, those stats. Because I know.
What, the HE? Kills with the HEs?
No, well, not just so much the HE, but obviously we've heard, players in interviews, they're like, yeah, kills don't matter. It's all about how the kills and what kills you get. But at some point, you got to be sat there going, you see my 1.5 rating?
Yeah, and that's actually like the downfall.
Yeah.
As soon as that starts coming through, there's a guy, he's really famous for it for a long time, right? And he's successfully managed to
Great
change
rating,
things.
bad team player.
But you know, he's had to move across the world basically because he was so good at that.
Okay, that narrows it down.
You know, that mindset. For some reason, he just couldn't get along.
I wonder who that could be. Well, Guardian push it on through. It was a 3-on-2, but make it a 2-on-2. And the problem is when Guardian is alive with that, it is a serious problem. MSL only has a deagle, but at this range, that deagle could work out well. But Navi going to back away. 56 seconds on the clock. Guardian and C is going to make sure they go in as a 2. Nothing going to cut them off. But Config has this AKs rescued. He's alone on B site at the moment. Could cause damage. It's only a one-shot headshot. That's all he needs. Could knock them on their feet, but he has to land it on the opener.
Yeah, I am glad about this, though. This is some solid teamwork coming out from Navi. Instead of looking for a series of duels, now they can get into position to support each other, trade up.
Double smokes, all the flashes. They got all the utility they need for this.
Seized, he might be walking into this angle. Config is trying to find a headshot angle that he can hold from to negate the fact that he has Kevlar. He doesn't have Kevlar, right? So he's just waiting for somebody to peek their head up here so they can put this AK to good use. And he's going to be able to deny the bomb plant immediately. Sick play. Really surprising from Navi. I guess they were feeling the clock, you know, feeling like they didn't have the time. But now MSL's in position to just go in here, spam the shots, and he somehow doesn't get it. And he nearly gets that one through the smoke. Seized. He's going to get the kill at the end, and that's so heartbreaking for Dignitas.
Oh, God. I got to be honest. The old weapon switcheroo came out as well there, didn't it? You saw it was Config, it was in the pit. Yeah, that's just heartbreak right there. Heartbreaking again. He doesn't even need to flank, he could just stand still. It's like, because it's the flanking that's probably adjusting the angle on the shot.
Yeah, he's not letting the recoil reset.
Yeah.
He's just going ham. Oh man! And after Navi commit the critical mistake as well, they don't clear out pit, so Config gets a kill for free. Like that was really surprising.
He got the kill, but then immediately jumped to knife. I'm going to jump around, starts freestyling or something. A bit of parkour. I'm not sure really what was going on there, but Guardian, he is unperturbed, gets himself a double down long, and of course the backup from Edward comes in time, and now Dignitas, despite having the rifles, they effectively may as well just have pistols down long there because they didn't commit the damage they required. Config, though, in a position to try and do something. You can see Edward and Guardian are pretty low, but wisely for Navi, it's not those people that are going to be running the front line. They're going to be sitting back. Bomb down, 4-man defense. This should be Navi's in the bag.
Yeah, they should definitely have control of this. Double off as well, hold the angle. Zeus doesn't need one. He's going to just wipe out Config anyways. And that's the signal for Tensky to back off. So this is also the real difference maker here for Dignitas. And what's going to lead them to just not winning the maps is that they're losing these really close clutch situations. The clutch situations keep going Navi's way. And so that's, I mean, that'll wear you down as well. You're just going to keep feeling like, man, you know, if only we had just a little bit of luck, right? Could have gone our way, and then all of a sudden we're the ones sitting ahead. Instead, they're about to be, you know, staring down the barrel of a 6-round lead for NaVi on T side for Overpass. I mean, it's just like Mirage again, except that at least Dignitas on Mirage were able to put up a little bit more of a fight, and it wasn't such a huge lead for NaVi. Now NaVi, I mean, they've already got all the rounds that they need on T side. It only gets better from here, and they have a sick economy as well backing it.
Yeah, they're starting to get to that scary situation. It's like, guys, we need to force it. We need to do anything. That's starting to get that panic situation. You can see it's just pistols, a little bit of armor for Kirby, and of course they need to back up that rifle that Tensky has. So they're going to 4-man stack, rush straight to party. Okay, now they're going to go connector, 3-man down connector, and Zeus is going to be the man in open arms. So send Tensky out, or send one of the leading men. Okay, Tensky's going to be the front peeker. Well, Seized will land the easy one on Config. They could rush Zeus down. That will give themselves an AK. And actually, they've managed to catch Seized down as well, but Flamey coming around the back there. Not getting caught out as they say that. MSL with the CZ in the back, and suddenly it's a 3-on-2.
And Kirby has 1 HP. What is this ridiculousness? Smoke goes down a block off connector, but they've got control of the B site. Now that bomb is going to be making its way up there. And again, we're going to have that buddy system come into play, and it's the 2 heavy hitters on Navi's side as well this time around. So Flamey, easy kill onto Kirby. That's just one of the rifles down. Second one, Tensky not willing to play patiently. And well, yeah, that's what happens when you run through smoke against a guy with Flamey's aim.
Yeah.
You're going to get wrecked.
It's just not going to work out in your favor. But, I mean, it was about as much as they could hope for from that round. But here we go. Okay. Orp back in the hands of MSL. He's not won out the duel with Guardian down long just yet.
Nope.
It's a problematic period that we expected to see actually in this one. You know, we said right at the start before we actually came in, it's like against Guardian on this map is not going to be a fun time. And the Navi, well, they're quickening things up. That nade actually landed on Guardian, but he's already through Monster. They're already pushing on B.
Here's the big change of pace coming out from Navi, right? They're like, okay, we know you guys are going to be feeling the jitters. We know you're going to be stressed. So let's go ahead and just change up the pace. Very quick smoke execute onto this B site. Config now has to worry about 2 angles. He's lost his buddy onto short. But MSL's luckily, he's going to be in position to rotate over. Misses the first shot as the smoke goes down. And now he's just going to go for the big YOLO play straight through that smoke. Finds the angle, and I think he got spotted. They have to know that this man is close.
He's managed to get through, and suddenly Config's a loose cannon through the smoke. And how is this working out in their favor? Rubino gets behind them. There's MSL. He's gone all the way, rope-a-dope around the whole site, and Seized is suddenly the last man standing. But it is a 2-on-1. Make that a 1-on-1. MSL with the AK up close, and Seized with no hit points, trying to get himself out of the position. But the bomb down, he didn't really need to peek that. He knew MSL had to go for the defuse, but he was kind of tucked in. There was no HEs for MSL. I mean, I guess that he wasn't to know that.
No,
any HE could have just dunked him out there.
He's just thinking, if I can get into Soar, then I can play for Monster, right? Then I can be a real nuisance and just burn a lot of time off the clock. Because MSL, already it's a lot of time to push short to try and hunt me down into pit. And then if I'm wrapping all the way back around, that adds another layer to it. Whereas if I'm just sitting behind the sandbags, I'm a dead man. So, yeah, that's, I mean, Seized, it's really just like you got to get lucky, right? You just got to hope and cross your fingers that you can make it through the spray. Unfortunately, it doesn't pan out for him this time, and finally one of those clutch situations goes Dignitas' way. Yeah. So this will be a little bit of, you know, wind under their wings, D-man.
The Rubino flank was basically what pulled it off, but Guardian with the AWP. Seized is the distractor this time around. MSL actually aggressive. Ooh, that was a little time jump, and that little tag there. Oh, he's completely caught him. MSL has no idea that he's managed to jump around there. Nice little parkour moves from Seized to get himself out of the danger. And NaVi got connector fully stacked out. 4 members can go any direction right now. Config pushing very aggressively. Will be trying to give all the information, but Seized is actually sat waiting for him.
They still have a presence in mid as well, Dignitas. It's not like they've fully rotated off of A, thinking that this is going to be that B hit. Instead, it's Guardian to pick off Tensky. That was at the entrance to A. Flash is going to be there, and obviously Guardian's going to miss that shot. Kirby with a great duck under the angle. So a 4-on-4 situation. This still favors Navi, but they are a little bit lower on utility here, so it's going to come down to the shots. And I think Zeus just spotted out Rubino, and he wins the duel, and Flamey takes out Kirby at the same time. So there you go. A defense wiped out in just a moment.
Yeah, MSL's going to try and rotate, but he's in an enviable position with that AWP as he tries to get into a spot. Realizes it's not going to happen. He's already backing away. The save call has come out. Config's got himself tucked well away from this one. And Navi, just once again, isn't it? It's win a round, lose the seconds straight away. Economy shattered. If they can keep hold of these weapons, be the best they can hope for, but Zeus is already on the hunt for MSL here. But well, okay, MSL does manage to land that one. But now they're going to try and track him down. I mean, NaVi are sitting pretty right now. They're still, despite losing that last round and picking everything up, they got 2, 3, 4K across the board. 9-2 first T-side, already a great T-side for them, considering, well, Guardian on A is going to be an immovable object on the CT side.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they're not hunting a little bit more aggressively on that fight. I mean, MSL, he should be able to make it out of this, but no. Decides to go for the repeat, and C's is going to be ready and waiting for him. So a second A to be picked up in case C's wants to hold on to that for funsies.
I don't know why they didn't sit together there, Config and MSL. Find themselves some sort of position where they could cover both angles. At least get a refrag on it. Maybe recover the AWP again, but now they're not going to have an AWP coming into this next round, and not going to have a great deal of anything, really. It's all on Config. No pressure, but you know what? They've won out this one before, but there you go. Now we're starting to get to that situation. It's like, buy what you can.
Yeah, you just have so few rounds left in this half, you have to go for the buy. Your backs are to the wall at this point if you're Dignitas. You've got 2 rounds on your CT side. NaVi have got excellent money. It's not going to get any easier from here, so you have to go for a big play. Eating a nade is not part of the plan. MSL already down to 60 HP, but he's getting so close and instantly picks off Flamey. Nice follow-up there from MSL. 2 kills for him. He can even go further if he wants, but he managed to pick up an AK, and now has such a huge lead. Dignitas, all they need to do, exactly, fall back. Leave a man behind if you want, but consolidate the defense elsewhere on the map so you're not getting caught in the back.
While this is all happening, Seized and Zeus are coming in with the bomb into B site. Tensky with that Deagle. Not going to be able to keep Seized at bay, who's himself got an AWP, and well, he's already making use of it on Config. So now we're down to a 3-on-3. And you would assume at this situation, NaVi will come out on top, and as Zeus wins out that duel, it's almost cemented the fact. Rubino pushing through the smoke with an AWP. Yeah, not going to work out so well in your favor, and Cease finds him. And what began as a slightly scary moment there as MSL found the double, suddenly petered out into a very easy round for NaVi.
This is just a catastrophe. Because look at what keeps happening. It's on the scoreboard, it's so clear. I mean, obviously there's 10 rounds on the board, but it's 10 rounds spaced in such a way that Dignitas, they just never have the money. They have they probably had 2 full buys where they had everything that they needed out of this first half. Apart from then, it's like people skimping on nades, skimping on kits, not having full utility right. I mean, this is insanely frustrating for the Danes at this point.
Money screwed is the collective term we can use on air, I believe, that the players would refer to this as. Well, Zeus collected himself a couple of kills, backed up by Guardian. Uncharacteristic miss there, but does finish it off with the pistol.
Kerry's raging. It's just like, you missed the shot and then you rushed me? What? Kerry's expecting him to be backing off around that corner.
Thought he got himself the AK. If he could have just got around to Zeus's AK, he'd have been so happy with life.
Guardian's just like, my name is Guardian. Remember it.
Remember my name.
You come with the king, you best not miss.
11-2, guys. This is very one-sided stuff from NaVi. Totally different to the Mirage game. 16-14 that ended, and Dignitas a little, I wouldn't say unlucky not to reach overtime in that, because it was kind of their own mistake that led to the 16-14 scoreline. But here on Overpass, it is a very different story. Very one-sided thing. Oh, yeah. And NaVi kind of proving to themselves, we are really good on this map.
Yeah, it's just exactly, it's clear as day, right? And you made the point at the beginning of this map as well. You know, it's just like, okay, Dignitas, they beat tier 2 teams on this map. You know, NaVi are one of the very best on this map, and you can see how huge the gap is between the 2 teams. NaVi just don't make any mistakes right now that would cost them anything. It's all the pressure is on Dignitas. Kirby does manage to win a duel versus Zeus to start things off, however, so at least there's a little ray of sunshine peeking through the smoke.
Yeah, I mean, while I would say that, yeah, they are very good on here, they are actually very readable, I would say, NaVi. Like, I mean, Zeus down the tunnels in connector there, almost every round. So Kirby finally wins out that duel. Seized is generally that distracting factor, almost like the Nico role, effectively, on Mouse. He tries to find himself some picks, and sure as hell he manages to get one. So suddenly B-side is like, well, I'm in a one-on-one duel with Tensky. If we win this, may as well bring the bomb over here. But the problem is that Flame is questionable on Kirby, because Kirby won out that duel, so they don't really know where he is right now, which is why Guardian actually might find him in a moment. Yep. Oh, it doesn't even need the AWP, man.
Oh no, and that's gonna pull the rotation off as well. There's MSL getting caught, and now it's just Rubino, last man alive here. 1v3. Does he have hope? They say that hope springs eternal, D-Man.
The thing is,
but
like,
I think that NaVi found a corner.
when you've won that duel in there, you know you're that problematic guy around the back. You think, yeah, okay. And then Guardian does that to you with a pistol. It's just like pistol whips you.
Exactly.
The
That's
back
what he
of the
did.
head is like.
That's what he did.
It's just like, oh god, really? I thought I was good at this game, and then I met Guardian.
No, I mean, Guardian is. I mean, there was a little bit of a discussion going on today as to you know, where Guardian ranks in the world right now. But he's definitely a top 5 player in the world right now. Like just when he's on his game, that was something that we only found out after the tournament, is that you know he wasn't in tip-top physical shape at Katowice. You know, he had a wrist issue that was causing him a lot of trouble, and so you know we saw the underperformance there from him. But this is what he's capable of when you know he's not feeling physical ailments, right? He's just gonna wreck you. Doesn't even matter. Pistol, gun, knife.
I was just wondering, actually, MSL ran in though with the CZ and carried on going. So I'm trying to get the elements of surprise, I guess, but he had picked up an AK as he didn't switch to it. But that's been dealt with. That was the one challenging factor. But yeah, Guardian, obviously we saw it the other day, wasn't performing on the online game. And as you said, that's when he tweeted out, wasn't it? It's like struggling with that wrist injury. But doesn't seem to be affecting him too much today. Obviously, clearly had a nice little rest. Not doing so hot. I mean, he's saying so hot. He's got what he needs to.
Across. It's actually pretty fun with NaVi right now, and this has been since the very beginning of this map. Everybody's getting kills.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting a piece of the action. So it isn't like Guardian just hard carrying. It's just like if you happen to run into Guardian, you're going to die. But then if you happen to run into Seized or Flamey or Zeus, you know, it's just like you're not having a fun time.
Yeah, I watched, what was I covering yesterday? It was Penta. I watched Penta yesterday, and Mike S sat there at like 32 kills, about 20 rounds in, while a couple of his teammates were on 6. It's just like, come on, guys.
Okay,
kind of carrying you.
Team help, please.
Yeah, and they lost that game, actually. So it just compounds your anger more. But Guardian, well, you know, when he's on this sort of form, it's a problem to play against. 13-2 the first half, very one-sided T-side for NaVi. Dignitas unable to ever get their economy going throughout that game.
It must be pretty quiet on the Dignitas TeamSpeak right now.
Or very loud. It's one or the other.
They're I don't think
the team that goes quiet?
Yeah, I think they're a team that goes quiet more than anything. They aren't exactly like an SK or something like that.
Yeah. It's when you run out of ideas, it's just I don't know what's going to work right now. Everybody's trying to focus on their own game, and then everybody just gets angry and just goes quiet.
Hasn't been VP actually so much. NaVi do have a tendency to get shouty.
Yeah.
At times, Zeus for the most part, very vocal. Guardian hardly ever says a word. Flamey, I don't think is capable of speech. I don't think I've ever seen him speak into a mic.
His vocal cords just don't work.
Flamey is just like the sickest player, right? He's just so streamlined, right? He's like an orca or something, you know? You just you point him at the seal, and this time it happens to be Dignitas, right? And the seal is there, just minding its own business on the ice. And you know, most orcas, you know, they'd like be really smart and use a wave or something to wash the seal off of the iceberg into the water. No, Flamey just goes right through the iceberg. You know, that's what happens, right? He doesn't need to say a word. No clicks or whistles here.
I'm just imagining like Photoshop images right now of Flamey's face on his orca.
Dude, the guy is a murderous killing machine. Like, that's exactly what happens.
Let loose the orca. We're gonna need a bigger boat. Oh god. Okay, well NaVi, they've got the little boost over on B side, just keeping that peekaboo over. I think it's Edward and Flamey actually. Just Edward's the bread in the sandwich. Flamey's the meat.
Oh, nice shot, Zeus. MSL is really probably never going to go into long again. Nothing has worked for him on long this map.
He hasn't won a duel though yet. The actual only success that MSL's had is when he's been doing those CZ runs straight through in towards the T-spawn. But Dignitas got themselves a couple here, and suddenly Edward is called into effect, but there's one of the beautiful little pistols we're so used to seeing. Flamey gets the second, Config is in trouble, and Edward will find another headshot. So 14-2, that may well be all she wrote for Dignitas.
Yes, it is not going to be very uplifting here. What do they got? I mean, what can they really do? They got 3 kills, so at least a couple of them will be able to get some more nades. You know, you could go for like Tech 9 Kevlar and then a smoke or something.
And they got so they got 2 smokes. They want to hit B. They just want to pile into B as fast as possible. Try and cut off the site. Go in with those Tech 9s. Try and make a problem, and that's what it looks like they're going to try and do. But Seized and Flamey are basically set up and ready for this.
Yeah, go for the tried and true.
Oh, actually, Edward's there as well. They are Guardian's also going to be there. This is going to be a shooting gallery.
Yeah, this is not going to be pretty. Seas does actually 1-for-1. That's good enough. MSL finding some luck finally, but now we start to see the nades come in. Lots of damage being dealt with the HEs. It's all on Flamey now, hitting that angle. Doesn't spot the man getting into short, but he goes ahead and just removes Kjerby from the map. Pretty easily done there.
And they're actually getting cut off from their own site now. They've all tried to back up and be passive about it, but they've been smoked off, cut off, and shut down. Flamey, Guardian's going to go for the defuse. MSL's going to have to try and line this one up. Doesn't quite have it. Tries to tuck into the sandbags, but can't find the shot. Guardian got the defuse in before Flamey landed the shot as well. 15-2 the score. It's a
round
tragedy.
after round that MSL goes for the shots through the smoke, and he's not able to find that defuse.
I think we're seeing probably the after effects of putting so much effort into the Mirage game, so much turmoil, and then that last round turning the way it did.
Yeah.
I think it's just sort of compounded the effect on Dignitas, and then the start of this game, no economy, no nothing, and as you say, probably very silent throughout this game.
No, this is yeah. That's a very good point actually, because we see that a lot in best of threes where a team battles, so hard on the first map that they just aren't able to mentally check into the second map.
Yeah, I mean it's a big old test, the mental fortitude for teams, and it's actually ironically the same across a lot of esports. You can tell between the BO1s and the BO3, the good old argument. It's like if you play more BO3s, you get used to having to mentally set yourself up. It's like, okay, guys, we're probably going to lose this map, but let's get ready for the next one.
That was Envy's MO for a while.
Yeah.
Lose the first map.
They were always bad at losing the first one.
Lose the first map, but then, win the next 2 maps, and then win the best of 3, and then go on to win the major. I mean, that's just how Envy rolled.
Yeah. And if you think back to the good old 1.6 days, it was the old CPL days was the traditional, the best teams, they absolutely struggled through the groups, and then sure as hell through the lower bracket, they come through and they have this amazing storyline. It happened so many times throughout those CPL days, but it's not quite been the case. We don't really have a lower bracket in CSGO anymore. I'm trying to think of any.
No,
not really
apart from the
many
group
tournaments.
phase.
Yeah.
Group phase double elimination, but yeah, once we get into the playoffs, we don't really see those double elims. I think Copenhagen Games was the last one to be running it for a while.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not a bad thing because it makes tournaments go on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah, Copenhagen Games was that's why Copenhagen Games. It's like you loved it because it was like this small kind of like close knit, lots of fun. They had beer in the venue, everybody just going ham. Still the best after party all year long. Like that was what was crazy about that event is that the tournament was a nightmare, but the after party was super sick because everybody knew where it was. They did it in the venue. So they cleared out half the venue, so you had tables for people to sit at, and music, bar, everything. It was super sick. Best after party. But yeah, tournament days were like 12 hours a day every day.
Yeah,
you're just like
brutal.
Double limb, why?
Mind you, that said, current tournaments aside, 12 hours feels quite short.
Let's see, maybe maybe don't talk about 12-hour days.
Don't talk about that.
Tell her, what are you doing? I'm surprised they didn't mute me there for a second.
I believe is the word we do want to say in there, but yeah. Okay, well, Dignitas picked up the last round and maybe should be picking this one up. If they do lose this, they'll absolutely be cursing themselves tonight. As I say that, as Edward finds MSL there with a CZ shot of his own. Now, Flamey is still sat with Edward down here. They're covering off this connector, and for some reason, Dignitas feel they have to challenge it. Not sure why.
It's like when you're watching a horror movie and they go into the dark room, even though you know the killer's waiting around the door.
Now that's the bomb. What?
The killer,
What is
he's
that?
right there, and you just want to scream at the screen. You just want to be like, "Don't go in there!
Don't do it!
Don't go! Call the cops! Get out of the house!" And Dignitas are like, "I wonder what's in this room that just squeaked. I heard something. I should investigate." And then NaVi, they have the hockey mask on, and it all ends horribly, right? Because they walked in.
Starts.
Not only did I guess 2 of the Dignitas members decide to investigate the dark room, but then obviously if we're going with the Jason thing, 2 of them were also having sex in another room for some reason. That always ends up horrible, right? Long story short, NaVi, unspeakable horrors, and a very, very clean second map here to pick up, while 2 very well-earned wins. So first one was a bit touch and go, but Overpass, that was a masterclass. They just completely dominated.
Yeah, 16-3. They just didn't have anything they could do on the T side, really. The damage was done, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
13-2 first half. You don't really come back from that unless your name is Fnatic. That's about the only way really back. Guys, I believe the desk is about ready to go. I'm going to pass over to it before the producer, Matt, tells me all set. Guys, deep analytical thinking on that one, I feel.
Oh, we're totally not ready. Oh my god, thank God. Oh, Lee,
I was
what was that?
so scared.
God, I was
was-
not ready for that one. Lee,
No.
what on earth are you doing? Hello guys,
Immediately.
welcome to the desk once again. This is one of those fun segments where we have to sit there and try and break down, try and find some sort of chink in the armor of NaVi and explain what on earth went wrong for Dignitas, but it did just feel like that game was almost over before it began. I'll start with you, Ben.
I guess the biggest mistake that NaVi did, or I guess the biggest error, the biggest problem that they had was pretty much, the biggest problem that they had was probably defending underpass versus ecos, and that kind of, because they'd never lost a round off of it, so it wasn't that big of an issue, but they could have saved some money.
It was a bit of a massacre consistently in underpass as well. Like T-side for both teams seem to have problems just keeping control of it.
Yeah, no, it's highly contested, and it makes sense because it allows for quick rotations if you're a T side. It allows for quick rotations again if you're a CT side. So that makes sense, but obviously NaVi handled that a lot better.
So what you got, Lauren?
Oh, so much
So much to say. I can tell you've got so much to talk
got,
about
like,
here.
3
There's so
papers
many
full of
Yeah,
pages.
don't worry,
notes.
this is train for SK. It's I've already moved on.
Right.
And I hope Dignitas do as well, because that was an absolute thrashing, let's be honest. You saw some nice nuances coming out from NaVi, the little boost kind of close to where the aggression really comes out from the CT side, the little pop-up that you can see
By
above
Fountain.
towards-
Fountain, yeah.
Correct, have a little look over that. It needs to be supplemented with the smoke. Things like this, like small pieces, they're really enjoyable to watch, but Dig barely ever had enough money to go on the full buy on both sides, one more limited than other. It was a thrashing. Like, let's be honest, normally we discuss what can happen in Overpass when someone like Guardian doesn't show up, and then there's your Flamey or your Edward. When he does, it's just like, well, there you go, there's every box checked, and might as well just move on.
And I do want to highlight that as well. Coming into this one, we highlighted that one of the kind of the chinks in the armor, as I outlined before, of Overpass for NaVi is, shutting down Guardian. Dignitas don't have that capability on their team. Like, you aren't going to put an AWP in the hands of MSL and expect him to go aggressive party and take down Guardian or someone crossing towards Playground. That just doesn't seem to happen. It's not there in their game plan.
No, if anything, it's going to be off a team effort. So basically,
Like a long push or something?
Well, basically, you have to commit an extreme amount of nades, which is a bit of an issue on a map like Overpass because you do actually need those nades to get onto the sites eventually. So it's well and nice and all to be able to down Guardian at long, for instance, or by a party area, but it doesn't really help you if you can't go directly off of that onto the site. So yeah, it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
And to be fair though, like any, I think confident AWPer is what I'm going to go for, or someone who's got like the willingness to kind of go for the aggressive plays on the CT side at the moment. Generally thrives in this map right now. You look at Device, an easy example for Astralis, when he's like everywhere on the map. He's just so fluid with how he takes his shots. And as you said, if you don't have the utility to challenge it or a way to negate it, and let's say a counterpoint as an AWPer, someone who's willing to take that fight, you're going to have to try and find another way around it because it is an extremely big factor at the moment.
Yeah, I'm trying to kind of rack my brains about what that kind of alternative would be. Is if you don't have a player like that, you've already mentioned kind of a team effort aggression. I'm thinking you'd have to invest a lot of utility, a whole lot of everything just to shut them down without that. And that can't help but feel that that's a little bit of a hamstring to Dignitas' plays if they don't have that strong AWP presence.
They never had a full buy.
Yeah, well,
that
doesn't help.
That's
So
also a
just
big
like,
problem as well. But I mean, you know what? They've made it work before. They've made it work multiple times. Of course, a team that actually, now sitting in a lot of people's top 10 at this point. They are still going to have to continue to prove themselves in this Pro League, though, as they do fall in both maps between them and NaVi. Our next games are going to be SK. We get to see what they can do. Currently doing all right for themselves, and they're going to be going up against G2. The French legends, and we're going to be seeing them in action right after this, guys. Do not go anywhere. Train is up next.